guys maybe not feel comfortable in sex as a space to saturate in because it feels too feelings? It feels too kind of too much here and now and less conquest?
Well, a man is a human being, and as a human being, he has a deep need for love and connection and feel good and happiness. So I would say most men have a need for that
Hmm.
still.
But we're told
Like,
we like crossing the finish line, touchdowns, and getting the win. So we just think the way we're told to operate in a way.
so I guess we are talking about, what is a really fundamental human experience when we take off these ideas that were given by culture.
Yeah,
Like fundamentally,
yeah.
we've just all been through COVID. What have we learned in the lockdowns is that human connection is practically like air to people.
See, man, that's the thing, bro. That's where this gets a little bit scary. Connecting to somebody, that's when it gets like I can even feel my heart kind of start to close a little bit, clench up, and goes like, I don't know about that, man. There's some pain in there. There's some,
Mm,
there's some
mm.
trauma in there. There's some unhealed stuff in there. And hey, how about instead of connecting, we just fuck people and come? Like that's a great way to do it. We'll just fuck as many people, and we'll just like stay on that pleasure circuit all the time. I did that for a while, but it's hard, man. Like
Well,
it's
and there you go.
yeah, the
And there you
connection.
go. You did it for a while, and maybe you just need to do it for a while to realize that there's nothing that you will not run away from yourself.
Yeah, but you feel that there's still this like risk. It's a beautiful thing, man. I love this is where the conversation is in right now. It's a beautiful thing. Is you strip away what you're told from maybe gender norms and what people expect in you, and you find you're a human being. And the thing about humans is we desperately need love and connection. We need that. And
But also, look, I don't think men are strangers to love and connection.
hmm,
So men love. Men love their parents, they love their children, they love their God, they love their friends. For men to love is something also, natural. Somehow, culturally, we took a turning where sex became not about love. Like love is not the important thing in sex, which is really ridiculous because if there's one area where I'd say, it has to be about love, shouldn't it be the intimacy through the bodies? But anyway, this has happened. So even all the religions and all the spiritual traditions, eventually we arrive to that, we are an experience of love and connectedness to everything. So everything is about that, and men connect, they connect with each other, they connect with the sports team, they feel connection with the sports team, they feel love with the sports team,
mm,
so it's present in a man's life. I think just the recognition that you have a deep need for that aspect in physical intimacy with the person that you love as well. And you love that person,
yeah.
like men, they love their partners, they love their wives.
Looking at sex as an opportunity for connection genuinely feels like a ass backwards way to look at it from the way that we learn it in our community, yeah, like in our upbringing.
Yeah.
It looks like oh, it's not for the feely touchy. Like it's for like we said earlier, like it's for pleasure and entertainment.
I think this is cultural, and there are many established sex authors and sex therapists, and generally media that still drives the message that sex is not about love. Making sex about love is something really mushy and boring and kind of yucky, you know?
Yeah, it is. That's
Um,
the feelings that I'm getting right now.
yeah, people who made stories about love in sex, I don't know where they came from. I'm not aware of sex being practiced with love in our culture in any historical period.
Mm.
So I don't know where the stories came from. Is it imagination? Is it assumption? What is it? I think these are like, stereotypes and caricatures. And I think it's because we as a culture have not really explored sex that is real love. That we have never had a culture of loving sex that is really powerful, that is a practice where you actually can feel it as a powerful sexual energy. And if we did that, we would see that this is the most, like, I over the 20 years that I've been working, I have come to believe this is the most important sexual energy. It's the most powerful sexual energy.
Love.
There's nothing that is, yes, it is an actual energy in sex. It's an actual You can call it a practice, you can call it an intent, you can call it an experience that you're feeling in sex. And I've come to see, and I've explored this a lot, and I've worked with it a lot in the sense of like trying to understand how to put it into a practical into practice itself. I think it is really amazing how much more powerful it is than anything else in sex. So we are getting the best sex by doing that. So it's just an energy that you transmit in that moment. It doesn't even need you to be in a relationship as such. It is an energy that exists in that moment. It's almost like a mode. If you think about a mode of that you can be in.
Yeah, it's the whole thing, man. The whole thing. I mean, dude, the fucking saturation model is dope, man. It is a really, really great way to look at it. It is. It's so good. The opposite of love in sex is working somebody and working yourself. Yeah.
The sexual energy. Like, that's also very nice. But the absolutely most powerful, most impactful thing is when you absorb love.
When you absorb love.
And when you send it.
What's the different texture to the love that exists within sexual energy that is not in the love that exists in doing volunteer work or helping somebody across the street? Is it the same love ingredient, just in a different mixture, like a recipe of sex?
I suppose. Yeah, it's a similar intent. I mean, if you follow any spiritual tradition far enough, in the end, all that's left is love anyway, right?
Yeah.
So everything is like, I don't know, this camera is made of love or whatever. But there's definitely a really powerful component to physical love, which as adults we can only experience through sex. I think it's just really, really profound. I mean, I have focused a lot on loving sex in my work. So I've tracked a lot of clients, changes that happened in their life, in their relationships. It just seems to be like a really potent substance. And if you look into things from neuroscience, etc., so it's not really chemistry. It's not like it's not even about oxytocin. It's about activating parts of your psyche and your brain through that physical love that is just really healing and nourishing and restorative and empowering. So it's obviously just the beginning of the exploration discovery of it. We are still to discover a lot more from it. I think it's going to become more and more apparent why and how it's so powerful.
Okay. Quick bathroom break real quick, and then I'd love to come back if you're cool with it to sending and absorbing love.
Let's do it.
Let's do it, man.
I'm like, I can talk for hours, man. There's no rush.
Yeah,
let's do it. Let's talk about everything.
Sounds
Get
good.
everything you can today.
So the things that come to mind, man, is about this love stuff. Like, bro, sex is seen, and I appreciate just kind of let me process this out loud. It's really helping me.
Mm-hmm.
Sex is seen and is dirty and wrong, and there's like this just bad tone to it. At least the way I was raised.
Mm-hmm.
And
which is really funny in a religion of love, isn't it?
Yeah, which is really funny in a religion of love. But sex is this space that exists. There's a space that exists where this energy flows, sexual energy, and within sexual energy, there's these a spectrum of different emotional substances that are there, and all sex is entering that space to saturate yourself in sexual energy.
Amazing summary.
And one of those is love.
And the most important one.
My mind's blown, to be honest with you, bro. My mind's kind of wide open right now. It's just like, oh, okay. I didn't know anything.
Do you need a minute? Do you need a minute to pick it all up?
I need a few weeks. In a few weeks. We need to do this again. Really.
Anytime.
Yeah.
Anytime.
I'm just like, sincerely, my mind I've gained language today on, and maybe this is me slowing down, dude, but I've gained language on fun, thrilling sex and nourishing sex and the existence of a whole nother dimension. And also the greatest thing today has been, now my brain thinks about sex as a space that exists where sexual energy is flowing, and you enter that space to saturate yourself in these life-giving, enriching, nourishing emotions, of which one is, and the most important of those is love itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's so different.
Bet you're looking forward to being with Lauren.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, the to be extremely, to be transparent, that makes me bump up against some of my own avoidant tendencies in love. The fear of experiencing that.
You know, I think it really isn't all that big and scary. I think a weird thing has happened with love in sex. It's been despised by our culture. It's been demonized by our culture. That, you know, it's this really scary thing that's going to destroy you if you experience love and sex. I think it is really, really simple, and it's just a really nice feel good,
Mm.
and it's just a really lovely energy that is nourishing you. I mean, you love your partner, you love transmitting some nourishing, loving energy to her. You love her body. You receiving the same back. It's nourishing you. It's like sunshine. You're absorbing it. I think there's nothing.
Scary.
If you see it like that as a substance, yeah, yeah, nothing. If you see it like that as a substance in sex, it's substance like sunshine. You
Yeah.
know, it's just really nourishing for you. I can understand completely, like when people feel, oh, I don't know if I can open to love when I meet the next person that I'm dating, because they feel all kinds of risks of like losing themselves, or they're, you know, they've had problems with boundaries before, or, you know, there's all sorts of psychological stuff that goes on that, you know, is scary for people, and that's understandable. And I always try to make clear that, like, in sex, I really think things are a lot more simple, and it's got nothing to do with any of that.
Hmm.
It's just like, if you just feel it as that
Hmm.
energy that flows between your
Hmm.
bodies. It's really beautiful. There's nothing bad about it.
Is it the trauma that people feel with love? Is it the love going away, and that's okay because that's life? Like, people fall in love and then they break up.
Sure. But you are talking here about, like I said, about love in the context of a relationship, not in sex. Yeah. So you're talking
Mm.
about like being with somebody, stopping being with somebody. And I always want to stay within my remit here, that, you know, I'm not an expert on relationships. And I would be talking out of my ass if I was saying, "Oh, you know, just love is not scary. Go and, you know, be free with love. You know, stop being a wuss."
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't do that, because I know that in relationships it can be a complicated thing. Like, what is love, and what is it composed of, and what does it bring? And there are a lot of really good professional people who work with that. But in the space of
Mm.
sex that we're talking about here, it's really, really
I
simple,
love that you
and there's nothing scary, nothing damaging about
I
it.
love that you say that, man. I love that you I mean, that's a really helpful reminder for me, my brother. Like, it's it's a really simple thing. It's just feeling love in sex and allowing that to be part of the texture of the moment, and allowing that to be part of the experience, the exchange, to give and to receive love. That love to be something that exists within that space that we said sex is, where sexual energy is flowing, of the emotional currents. One of those is love. It doesn't have to say anything about you or anything about them or anything about, you know, the stories that may
Mhm,
leave the bedroom and say, oh, well, I'm not worthy of love, or they're going to love me and leave me, and da 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 da. It's like, it's not even their love. Maybe it's not even their love that you're feeling. It's the love that you guys accessed together through sexual union. You know,
exactly,
that kind
exactly. Through your bodies, you create the portal to a
of.
dimension that is there for you.
See, that right there, man, I
So
think that's probably a key point for people that, even like myself, might feel a little bit of heels down when you start saying, and they go, I don't know, man, my relationship with love is kind of creaky. I got some avoidance of it, or I'm anxious about love, or I fear that I'll be abandoned, or XYZ. It's nice to think like, no, like,
mhm,
no, love is a current, it's a frequency that exists in reality, and you can tune to it, you can experience it. And one place that it's potent is this container of sexuality. And so you can go to that
mhm,
space with someone and experience
mhm.
love with them, but it's not necessarily their love. It's just you guys have accessed it together, and you're experiencing love. That's a really interesting way to look at it.
Well, I think you're still being a little bit chicken shit there by calling it not necessarily your love.
Mm,
You can see it this way, but also like, be brave. What's wrong with loving your woman
mm.
in sex? Just transmitting, like nourishing her with your love. I think we don't want to get too like spiritually high here. I think it's really important also to leave space for like a really genuine, authentic, normal human connection.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it is our love. It is my love to you, and it is your love to me. And also, there is that universal love that we access as well, and it all becomes love. But also, your partner, your girlfriend, your wife can come from work, and she's had a shit day, and you will hold her, and you will transmit love to her, and it's just a very simple act of recharging her and nourishing her.
Yeah.
You know, with your love, not with universal God's love. You know,
Damn it. Damn it. I tried to dip out on
I know you were trying to escape.
I appreciate that.
I caught you.
I appreciate that, my friend. Not many people will call you out on
But
the bullshit. I appreciate that. Yeah.
I'm. I would also say, it is definitely. You're right. It's definitely pushing the comfort level. It's pushing the boundaries. Feels like a bit of a stretch, right? Because we're so used to not opening ourselves to love in sex. But this is the only destination, really, that's a healthy one, if you can think of,
Yeah.
for sex, right? What is the next thing for sex? Like, surely it has to become love. There's no other logical evolution that we can think of for sex, like in a healthy way, that to become an experience of love. Yes, it might be like people are meeting it a bit maybe sooner than they thought they would be ready for. But the thing is, you will come to love eventually, right? Hopefully. Like that's a good scenario to come to love. Now, do you want to come to it much later in life? Do you want to come to it sooner in life? But sooner or later, you will understand that it's all about that anyway.
Yeah.
If it's going to go that way anyway, well, let's
Let's dive in.
do it sooner. Yes, so we can enjoy more of life ahead of us.
Damn. Alexey, my man. Jesus Christ. This has been a truly, truly helpful conversation for me and my journey. And I hope other people who are listening to this feel the same way. Dude, I'm so grateful for the work that you've put into understanding this and to being a conduit for this amazing message about love and about sex. And dude, you rock, brother.
Thank you. Thank you, man. You too.
Thanks.
You rock too. Your journey. Respect it very much.
Yeah.